Welcome back to the show. We have very distinguished guests with us today in the studio, and he wrote both of these books, and we're talking about Patrick Chouinard, and he's actually a newcomer to the Harrison area. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
And you have a PhD in this field.
Yes,
Archeology?
Where did all that start? As a child?
As a child, I was very interested in science and literature, and I basically by the time I was a teenager, I was pretty much directed toward becoming an anthropologist.
Okay.
Okay.
So actually, my degree is not in anthropology. It's in anthropology. It's in cultural anthropology, not physical anthropology.
And what's the difference between
Well,
those two?
cultural anthropology is this discussion of, cultures and civilizations and like folklore, so forth and so on. Physical anthropology is like, when they actually do the physical excavation of bones and things like
so
that.
you like the cultural aspect?
Yeah, but I was on the board of directors for the Central Gulf Coast Archaeological Society for 5 years in the early 2000s.
So you would go out to sites and survey sites, or how did that work? Are you just on a committee or?
Yeah, I was on the board.
Okay, just on the board.
And I was also their media specialist because I was also into video journalism at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I would go out and I would document their
findings,
their
and digs,
discoveries,
and
and digs and things of that nature. Yes.
So that's interesting. I've never heard of a culture archaeologist.
Yes, a cultural anthropologist.
Anthropologist, yeah.
Yes, my mentor was Vicki Baker, Victoria Baker, actually, as she calls herself officially, and she was at Eckerd College. And I didn't go to Eckerd College. She was just someone I had videoed for my television show, Archeology TV. And she's the first one to suggest that I get into cultural anthropology. Oh, okay. And so I'm not, my work is very specific. Some of it is controversial, so I'm not on any boards or any academic circles.
That's past.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this area. Would there be culture anthropology in this area?
I'm basically just interested in writing now, concentrating on regarding ancient Caucasians in North America.
Okay.
That's my primary focus, and also European culture and European archaeology. Right now, I'm more of what you could call an armchair anthropologist. Yeah. I write, I research, but I'm not in the field anymore, and I'm not in the academic field.
Well, you have a background of expertise.
Yes.
So that would be. And which one of these books did you write first?
Forgotten Worlds, from Atlantis to the Ex-Women of Siberia and the Hobbits of Florus. The Hobbits of Florus are a pre-human form of man that existed in Southeast Asia.
You said that you used the term hobbits.
Yeah,
is that an actual? That was
that
an
was
actual
their
thing,
nickname. Or? They called themselves hobbits.
Okay.
Excuse me. They didn't call themselves. We called them. Excuse me.
So we would term that as a Harry Potter type of thing. Or,
yeah, they call
Lord of the Rings.
It's a nickname. Yeah. And they're actually called Homo florensis.
Okay.
That's their official
scientific. So hobbits is easier to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was a made-up thing, but it's really not.
They went extinct 15,000 years ago. They were the most recent pre-human type of individual. And
were they small in stature?
They were only 3 feet high.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on the other end of the scale, there were giants as tall as 8 foot or taller, right?
Yeah, there were. At least there's mythological evidence to suggest that giants once existed.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of hoaxes, and there's a lot of people saying that the Smithsonian uncovered vast amounts of human remains that were giants. But nothing is confirmed because the Smithsonian denies that giants existed in North America. Yeah. And there's no physical evidence to the public. You can't really conclude that there are, in fact, giants in the past. But in my book, Lost Races of the Giants, I take a look at the mythological evidence for giants, the biblical evidence, and basically take you on a tour of all the different
yeah.
theories and legends.
And how they cross over, maybe.
And how they cross over, definitely.
Yeah.
So there is like physical evidence of the Hobbit.
Yes, there is.
Okay,
I mean, they have the bones. And in fact, that skull right there on the cover and that image depicts one of these so-called hobbits that existed back
Wow.
then. Yes.
And when you say existed back, tell me like what time frame?
15,000 years ago was the last living
15,000.
Homo florensis.
Wow.
So you mentioned how it intersects with biblical teaching
Yes.
and philosophies and
Yes.
theories and that kind of thing.
Well, it's biblical because there's evidence of pre-Adamic times. When you read the original Hebrew of the Bible, it doesn't say the world was without form and void. It says it became chaotic, is what the Hebrew says. So some have speculated that prior to the creation of Adam, there was another world. And there's been many biblical references to that. There's been references
Sure.
in the Jewish Talmud of pre-Adamic times. In fact, the Talmud talks extensively about this. And the pre-Adamic races could be giants. That's been speculated that. Certainly there's discussion of that in the book of Enoch, which was not included in the Bible, but it was included in the Bible of the Coptic Christians of Ethiopia.
Okay, yeah.
And there's also evidence in many of the Northern and South American myths of Caucasian-like beings coming to their realm. They call them the gods, or like the Incas call them the Viracochas, and the Mayans call them the Kukulkan, and the Aztecs Quetzalcoatl. And they're described, their image is the feathered serpent. But when you ask them what did Kukulkan look like, okay, it was a Caucasian-like being. So I started really researching the history of these Caucasian legends. And it seems that they are all around the world, of ancient, mysterious, powerful, godlike Caucasians visiting peoples of the world.
Where do you think these came from? What's your speculation?
Yeah,
Well,
what's your
the interesting thing is, and this is people are gonna laugh at this,
Yeah.
but there is legends of a lost continent and a lost civilization. We know from Plato said that Atlantis sunk 9,000 years before Solon, and Solon existed 600 BC. That was Plato's ancestor. And Atlantis supposedly sunk around that time, 9,600 years ago, BC actually. And so for us, it's 11,600. So the interesting thing is we have found evidence of comet impacts 9,600 years ago and floods. And we have also found Göbekli Tepe, 11,600 years ago, existed in Turkey. Now, up until we discovered Göbekli Tepe, it was widely considered that civilization didn't begin until around 4,000 years ago in Mesopotamia. But here was a temple complex that stretched miles, that had huge pillars that dated to a time that everyone thought Europeans and Middle Easterners were in caves, huddling together.
Okay.
And they actually found this structure that dated back to the time of the destruction of Atlantis.
Wow.
That's a mind blower.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I would assume you gravitate to this kind of thing.
Yes, I am more. That's another reason why I'm not in academia, because you know, they frown on that. They frown on Atlantis, and I'm also a big proponent of ancient aliens. So I enjoy the show. I know a lot of the people who are on it: George Eusakoulos, Robert Shaw, so forth and so on. So.
And these are people respected in their fields.
They're very respected. And
Speculating
so is
about,
David Childress. He's an excellent, excellent person.
yeah. So what's next? I mean, you have the 2 books, and you're living here in Harrison, Arkansas. What do you
Yes.
what do you want to do now?
Well, right now I want to finish a Christmas book,
Okay.
and that's more about how Christmas is not necessarily affected by commercialism, which I think has brought Christmas into the public very much so. I think that political correctness, multiculturalism had a negative impact on Christmas, in the sense that Christmas is a Christian holiday. It's a European holiday, and some of this multiculturalism negatively affects the way we traditionally celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
I think that we're getting away from our basis in Christ, and I think we're getting away from our basis in our European traditions, and we should hold to them
Believe
as a
that
nation.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Things are
when do
changing.
you propose that book to be finished? Do you
It'll
have
be it's
release
going to be
date?
finished in a couple months, but it'll come out next year
Okay.
Yeah. All
for
right.
Christmas.
Well, these books are available. I'm sure
Yes.
Amazon.com maybe?
Yes.
Just type Lost Race of the Giants?
Yep, they're available on
or can they
Amazon.
search your name as an
Yeah,
author?
Can, I
Patrick
bet they
Chouinard,
can.
and they can do that as well.
Patrick Chouinard, and we have
Yeah.
that information on the screen at the end of the show. If you're interested in archaeology and the cultural influence and decline throughout the world, that topic, and if you like to stretch your mind a little bit, this is probably the perfect book for you.
I bet it's not just like easy reading.
No, it is easy reading.
Okay,
It
good.
is-
Good,
It's
I
very
need
easy reading.
Okay.
It flows very easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Very simple language. It's not
Good.
academic. It's
Good.
not turgid in any
'Cause
way.
if it's way
Yeah.
up here, I'm lost.
No,
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
the-
It
and it's
explains it.
double spaced, folks. So you don't have that eyeball and
Yeah.
your mind all twisted up trying to read it. So, all right.
Oh,
Well, we
awesome.
love to feature local authors.
I think
And
that's
Patrick, would you not be a stranger and come back
Come back.
sometime?
Sure thing.
Yeah,
My
we-
Christmas book is done.
You
We'll come and
bet.
talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it.
All righty. Thank you, sir. And
Yep.
why don't you come out to the watch party that we're having at the?
I'll
Okay.
think about it.
Yeah,
All
come
right.
on out and
Yes.
see how that goes. Welcome
Okay.
to the community, and we'll see more of you maybe
Go to
later on.
break,
If you like to know more about the book, you can look at the end of the show, and Patrick's information will be there. We're going to take a break, right?
We are.
And who's next? I can't remember.
We have Jim Bumgarner
Oh,
who's
yeah.
standing over there.
Oh,
going,
yeah.
Here I am. So he's
right.
ready.
Stick around. Stay with us.